So I'm not going to pretend to be an expert when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. I do pay attention to the NFL. I know enough about them, but to talk about the intricacies of the day in and day out operations, I'm not going to pretend to be the most wise on the subject. However, Ian Rappaport reported today that the Panthers had fired their offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. And when I saw that, the only comment that came to my mind was sort of a sarcastic, like, yeah, like he's the problem. There's so many things that I've seen wrong with Carolina. I saw that when they played the Patriots this year, when I'm watching it on Red Zone, that I turn around and say, it can't be the play calling. Like to me, it was the personnel and it was a lack of execution. So I was, Jake Macomber tweeted this out today, said he didn't even have much to work with this year. How much of that offense really is his fault? And I agree with Jake. You think about what the Panthers did at the quarterback position, right? You trade for Sam Darnold, you exercise his 50-year option, you trade away Teddy Bridgewater. Sam Darnold didn't play well all season. He goes down. You sign Cam Newton off the street. Yes, Cam Newton's a former Panther. However, Cam Newton is a shell of who Cam Newton used to be. Cam looks okay. It looks pretty good his first game, only 17 snaps. Comes out his second game, looks great. Comes out his third game, it's sort of vintage, newer Cam Newton. I think he ends up with like a 5.8 quarterback ERA. However, there are Panther fans that are defending this decision. CLT Sports Fanatic says, dude had to go. For any non-Panther fan shocked, he was lucky. He was a lucky field goal bounce off the upright from being shut out versus the Giants this year. Let that sink in. He also coached an offense to one touchdown through a 12-quarter stretch. There is a reason LSU had 2 OCs when he was there. Okay, so I get it. And listen, I've seen people get frustrated with offensive coordinators. However, one thing that NFL fans do a lot is they don't put any blame on the players on their team. Like, it could never be Darnold's fault. It could never be Cam Newton's fault. We can never acknowledge that Christian McCaffrey has not been healthy and has not been reliable and has hardly played this season, and that could be a big problem. To me, it wasn't play calling and game planning when you watch the game. It was lack of execution. It was a lack of an offensive line that couldn't protect the quarterbacks. So, I mean, I say this sort of tongue-in-cheek, but who are the Panther fans going to blame next week when the offense looks awful and Joe Brady has already been fired? They'll probably go after Matt Rule. And I already saw some responses today that Rule should be next. But I mean, that Panthers defense has really turned around. To me, when I think of this move, I'm trying to figure out, like, was this a move for change, and was this change for change's sake, or was there really a problem? And again, I really don't follow the Panthers close enough to have strong arguments for the case, but from everything I've seen, it didn't look like the play calling to me. But again, there's a lot of people who don't believe that the coaching staff are doing their job, not just Joe Brady. Winter Soldier tweeted out, the entire offensive coaching staff needs to go, and all 3 quarterbacks just start fresh. But that's such a, I don't want to call it an oxymoron, but it's such a two-sided argument, right? Is it the coach's fault or is it the quarterback's fault? Like, Joe Brady didn't make any of those quarterback moves. So how come he's taking the blame? Dante tweeted out, Joe Brady isn't Cam's problem. Cam is Cam's problem. Brady called the plays and Cam completed 5 of 20 passes. Now, I did hear some stuff that there's the defenses out there saying that there's not a lot of change in the Panthers' game plans, a lot of the same routes. They talked about there was no creativity using Christian McCaffrey. Maybe that's the case. But you always got to wonder, if you don't have the dogs, how can a coach really implement a game plan when you don't have the type of players that are needed to make sure that there's success going forward?